Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here. This is going to be my 12.0 Midnight, I guess you can call it pre-patch, add-ons, basically UI video. Been talking about making it for a little while now. We're going to have profiles in the video. You guys can import and copy to make your profile or your UI basically the same if you want, all for free. Links down below in the description. And we're going to talk about the add-ons individually today and break down what they do, how to import things, so on and so forth. A couple shameless plugs here. Number one, if you aren't subbed to the YouTube channel here, it would mean the world to me if you would sub. We're less than 3K subs away from 100K, which is insane. I don't know how we're anywhere near that, but I really appreciate it. I appreciate y'all support. If you're not subbed, consider subbing. It mean the world to me. Yeah, that's that. Also, these spec guides will be coming out in probably starting the day after this video for AF, Demo, Destro. They're going to be shorter for pre-patch, just some basic talent builds and some like, hey, I did this. This is the rotation I followed. Have fun in pre-patch. We'll have bigger ones coming out before the expansion begins, but heads up, that's going to indeed be the case. Okay. So when it comes to add-ons and things of the sort, we're going to go through here very briefly looking at the add-ons I'm using right now, talk about the list of them, what they do, and then I'll have timestamps down below for the more important ones, basically all the ones I'm going to talk about here, with profiles down below in the description, probably in a paste bin, it could be in a Wago, it really depends. Very important to mention here, things, they might not change, they're going to change. I'm going to update profiles constantly throughout the expansion, even probably the next few weeks and days and stuff. I have tested these add-ons. I'm currently on beta right now. But I have tested these profiles to import, and they all do look like they import to PTR, which is pre-patch, just fine. If they don't, just tell me in the comment section, and I'll fix it when I wake up. It's fine. But just, they all should work, and it should be good, okay? Add-ons first day of pre-patch launch for retail might be a little broken, so bear with it for a couple days. But I would highly encourage you all, if you haven't gotten on beta, or if you're worried about pre-patch, PTR, to get on sometime before it hits this coming Tuesday and set up your UI. Even if it's just copying profiles from people that have made UIs and things, that takes probably 20 minutes, half an hour to figure out, download all the add-ons. If you're going to make your own, I would really encourage you to get on, because it is, you can have basically the same UI for the most part, barring like computational weak auras and certain things. There are plenty of add-ons to do mostly what weak auras did without, like, you know, solving fights for you in a sense. It just takes 10 times the effort. I've spent hours and hours and hours doing this on stream. And at this point, I think I'm pretty happy with it. It's almost the same UI. But if you're looking to make your own UI from scratch and haven't done it yet and aren't going to copy profiles from somebody, like you're going to build your own cooldown manager and things, I would do it ahead of time. You're going to lose your mind in pre-patch day unless you're doing nothing but UI stuff for a week. Yeah, if you're looking to import profiles and things, whatever, this is the video for you. Okay, I'm going to scroll through here very briefly and talk about things. So my action bars here currently, we'll have timestamps down below as well. Our Dominos right here. This is Dominos. I used Bartender before. It's not up to date currently on PTR. It might be, I don't know. So I haven't talked to most of the add-on creators. I mean, they're all phenomenal and smarter than me, but I'm using Dominos. Dominos has a cast bar. You can use that if you want. I'm using a different cast bar add-on, but there is that. As far as bug stack and bug grab are concerned, it grabs little errors. If you want it, it's fine. There you go. Ability timeline. We'll see it in a minute here as well. It is actually the bar on my screen here, very similar to the countdown timeline you've seen in raiding and retail, and even like Blizzard's default bar in Midnight. It's basically a reskin of it, gives more functionality, but there is that. Masque is basically a reskinning. See how I have like these square, like 90-degree angle edges here with a bit of a border on them? That is Masque and the Masque extension ElvUI. I have Blizzard bars, Dominos, and ElvUI for all the stuff for different skins, all that. It is currently skinning this, and I believe my cooldown manager here is, actually no, it's just skinning my bars, I'm sorry. But if you want that, there you go. Not really required, but it's, if you want like more, I guess you can say, to look better than the weird like rounded borders Blizz has, I get that, not a big deal. So we have quality of life. The add-on is called enhanced quality of life. Enhanced quality of life is, it greatly enhances your quality of life. It is a pretty in-depth add-on. We'll go into it in its own section in a minute here. It is basically my player frame, my target of target, my focus frames up here, and I have like a pet frame here as well if I pull a pet out, which should be, Right there. There we go. I was using shadowed unit frames for this in the past. I haven't seen the updates for SUF. Maybe it's going to happen. I don't know. But enhanced quality of life also gives you the option to see boss frames. It can adjust boss frames, other things as well. The Blizz boss frames are horrendous for dot classes, unfortunately. Hopefully they update them in the future, but they are really not very good. Thankfully, this add-on skins them similar to SUF, and it shows your individual dots on the target and allows you to interact with them and click on them. So there's that. We'll get to that in a little while. It takes a bit of work, but the profile you can import and be all the same. As far as advanced interface options goes, it just gives you options to skin things differently, different nameplate settings, a lot of like little interface options and tweaking you can do. There's that. So when it comes to boss mods, both daily boss mods and BigWigs are currently functional. I have used BigWigs in the past. That daily boss mods is more than fine as well. They're both great, phenomenal add-ons, all that stuff. They are indeed functioning in Midnight. A bit of restricted functionality compared to before, I believe. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but they still give audio cues, so on and so forth. I've heard that BigWigs is going to have a timeline similar to Liquid Reminders at some point, but I'm not sure if that's the case yet or not. Moving on from there, we have Combat Time Tracker, which is a little combat clock right here. Whenever I get in combat, super easy. Not bad, no problem there. Cooldown Manager Centered is basically this add-on here. This is what's skinning my Cooldown Manager with these little 90-degree angle boxes here, with a little skin on them. If you want that, great. It's not a big deal. Cursor ring adds a ring to your cursor. Very cool. Details is indeed working. Now, a lot of functionality of details has been restricted. Obviously, you can't see all of this anymore, in a sense. They did add deaths, I think, today or yesterday to the actual in-game meter, so I believe details probably will support that very soon. But you can indeed see breakdowns and damage like you used to in the past. Crit strikes, for some reason, are still black boxed by Blizzard. I don't know why, but whatever. But it shows breakdowns of all the abilities here, tooltips, so on and so forth, and we'll get to that. As far as that is concerned, besides that, we have, I'm using PlayersCastbars. For a cast bar, you can get plenty of them. I used to use Quartz, not around anymore from what I've seen. Maybe it's updated, I don't know. I am opting to use Plater for nameplates. Platinator is also a very good nameplate add-on. I have my Plater profile built on retail already. I just want to port it over. Platinator is phenomenal as well. If you want to make your own nameplates and not copy someone's from scratch, I'd encourage you to use Platinator. It is it's more user-friendly. Plater goes more in depth and things, gives more customization options, and I prefer Plater, but they're both phenomenal. Both phenomenal. As far as my shard bar here, Sensei's class resource bar. It works for a bunch of classes. There's that. This is just called stats, I think. Just stats. It's this right here. Talent Loadout EX is going to be this, where I import and export talents on the side here. We'll get to that in a second here as well. All these builds here for AF, Team Industrial, whatever you want. I've had it for a while. And the last add-on is called Warlock Reminders, which will remind you to make a health stone or summon a pet. Or if you got a pet out and he's on passive, it'll remind you all the same. That's the gist of it. So let's get into the actual meat of it, talk about profiles and how to import and export add-ons individually. Okay, so the first thing here, and I want to probably say, probably the most important thing, is going to be the cooldown manager and your overall UI layout. Now, it's not incredibly easy to find how to import and export these, but thankfully I can show you right here. Now, when it comes to your cooldown manager, just if you want to access the cooldown manager, escape, edit mode, pull it up, click a bar here, whatever. You'll get this box right here, which you then click advanced cooldown options. You can adjust sizing, whatever you want over here. And under here, you can see essential cooldowns, utility cooldowns, things that don't have displayed. And under here, you have tracked buffs. Now, if you're a warlock, a bit of brief talk here. For dots, you want to have them with the track buffs. You can track agony and wither and corruption under essential cooldowns. It doesn't track it well. It's not good. You want to track dots under tracked buffs. I basically have track buffs being Agony, Corruption, Wither, Haunt, Cascading Calamity, like dots and aura-based effects, like buffs, right? Nightfall, Shard Instability, Cascading Calamity, Haunt, so on and so forth. And my essential cooldowns basically just Dark Lair and Malevolence. You can add other things if you want here too, but I never track and create so well. I don't know why this is even here. But regardless, though, you can tweak and tune this if you want. If you want to add bars for tracking dots, you can do that as well. Drag it here, and there'll be an option as well off to the side in edit mode. You can put your bars somewhere if you like as well. If you want to add a pandemic glow to these on this actual tracker or a noise, you can do that as well by heading in here. You right-click it, add alert, for example. Turn on my sound, type sound when on aura applied, or pandemic, or whenever it falls off. Basically, we'll say pandemic, and I want to add, let's find the pig squeal. Where is it? There it is. But it didn't play. Didn't play for it. Play. Oh, it's a little button I gotta hit. Here you go. Perfect. Whenever Agony enters pandemic range, you'll hear the pig squealing. Realistically, I'd never add that, but there's an option there. At the same time, you can add visual glows too if you want a glow around the actual dot itself. Visual, pandemic, on applied or on removed. Only if you want it for pandemic. Marching ants is like a glowing border around it. That's what they call it for weak wars and things in the past as well. You can experiment with these if you want. That's how you add glows and stuff. I'm not tracking everything, but if you want, there is that. Now, when it comes to actually importing and exporting these profiles, I have one for Destro, one for Demo, one for AF. The way you position these icons as well is the way they will display in the actual add-on or the tracker when it pops up. So for example, if I have Agony and Corruption active, they're always going to pop up here. If I have like UA or Nightfall, if I move this here, UA is going to shift here, and it'll always pop up here. If I move Nightfall for whatever reason in the middle of this, it'll show Nightfall buffs in here whenever it procs. So keep that in mind, position it how you want. If you want to import profiles of mine or anybody else's, or even export your own, so back out to the basic screen here, escape, edit mode, click any bar. This is not part of it, this is something else entirely. Track buffs, click this, advanced cooldown settings, and then over here, there's a tab, Affliction, Demonology, and Destruction. I have one for each. I'm playing Affliction, so you can go over here. For me, if you want to share it and export it, copy to clipboard. It's already copied in my chat, then just paste it somewhere else. If you're looking to import my profile or someone else's, just go over here, import, paste it in. I just copied this. I would title it the spec it corresponds to. So for Affliction, import Affliction. Hit import, and bang, you'll import the same configuration that I have here, barring this. You'll import, excuse me, I messed up today apparently. You'll import all the positions of these weak aura or these weak auras, these icons, so on and so forth. So that is that. I would do that for AF and Demo and Destro or whatever profile you want. You can do that and tweak and tune it if you want as well. And that's that. Now, on top of that, there's another add-on, another way, there's another import as well. So basically what you're importing there is the abilities themselves and the positioning of where they're at and like how they're displayed, either in essential cooldowns, track buffs, or utility cooldowns. You also want to import your HUD like under edit mode. This is how it's going to put it in this position and structure like these bars in this positioning, right? So if you're at your main screen here, escape edit mode and go up here. So you have layout mode, Affliction, Demonology, and Destruction. Now you're going to have whatever you name them in here yourself on your own. I have ones that correspond to each spec. And the reason is because for Affliction, you have to track your dots through the track buff section here. It's really unfortunate. I wish this worked with essential cooldowns as well. It doesn't really very well. It is what it is. But I want to have essential cooldowns up here for Affliction and track buffs here. For Demonology and Destra, I want to have them in different spots. This is just bugged. Don't worry about it. It's fine. To do that, I have to have different HUDs. So I have one for each spec. Now, basically, whatever you make and like reload or log out in edit mode wise, it'll correspond to that spec. So make one for AF, log out, do whatever, it corresponds to AF. And then do the same for Demo and Destro. And whenever you change specs, it'll update automatically. You don't need to come in here and change it every time. However, to import the profiles that I have for Affliction or Demonology or Destro, all you gotta do is grab it from the paste bin or wherever's down below, and just click import, paste it in here, and I would title it the spec as well. So Affliction, for example, if I'm playing AF here, and that'll import the exact positioning of this, as well as like my bars and things here. The actual bars themselves are different skinned, but it'll import the positioning of basically all this stuff here, and as well as the boss frames, this. And you can adjust this as well if you want. It's going to import basically all these like little frames here, right? You can adjust whatever you want here, but if you want like the central hub in this position, I'd import this. So that's basically the edit mode profile you want to import and the cooldown manager profile you want to import. There's basically two imports for each spec to replicate this, right? We're still hitting on the actual HUD here as well. Not part of Blizz's actual like interface, but this is called Sensei's class resource bar. We hit on it briefly. It's right here. This add-on skins resources. Now, it's very important, at least in my opinion, to have this for a Warlock. Demonology Destruction, or Demonology AF don't really care a whole lot because they only generate full shards, but Destruction generates partial shards. So, I mean, while you can look at the just baseline shard gen bar that Blizz has, whatever they even have, I don't know. It's sort of hard to tell in a sense, like, if you're looking on the fly, do I have 3.4 shards or 3.6 or 3.2, 1 or 3.4? It's hard to tell. At the same time, if you're subliminally keeping an eye on your shard gen, you can almost feel out, I have 3.4 shards, I'm casting an Incinerate for 0.5, but I haven't genned a fragment in a while. So I'm assuming when this Incinerate ends, I can also just generate 1 shard naturally, or 1 partial shard from Immolate Ticking and have a full 4 shards for a Chaos Bolt or 2, right? It's better to have the partial shards being tracked if you can. That's what I'm trying to get at. So if you want that, Sensei's class resource bar is going to be this. You can just put it here. Just gotta drag it there, super easy. But as far as the cooldown manager goes here, it's just a HUD edit mode import and a cooldown manager import, which we talked about already in this section. The last little thing here I want to hit on in the middle is an add-on that I'm using called Cooldown Manager Centered. I believe it's /CMC. There we go. So I'm not like using anything in here specifically except for the square icon styling. I wanted it with the borders on them. These square borders here. I don't like the round borders Blizz has. If you don't care about this, it doesn't matter. Skip this part of the video. Totally fine. All I did was come in here and click square buff icons, square central cooldowns, square utility cooldowns, which correspond to the different rows of things here behind here. And you can just set border thickness, thicker, smaller, icon zoom. It'll zoom more if you want. That's it. If you want that, do this. If you don't worry about it. It's no big deal. I'm not going to include a profile for this. It's going to confuse people. And honestly, it takes 2 seconds if you even want it in the first place. I like it being sort of like universal with my action bars here, but that's that. That's how to basically import the central hub that I have with cooldowns, the shard bar, and the skins that I'm using. So the next add-on I want to hit on here is called Enhanced Quality of Life. This is going to be, what this is the add-on that I use for my player frame, my target frame, pet frame, target of target, and my focus frame here if I have it active for whatever reason. Now, I also use this add-on to skin my boss frames, which are over here. These are not the Blizzard boss frames. I think some things with the default Blizz UI, they've done a really good job with. Like the boss ability tracker, this is an add-on, but theirs is basically the same. Some things they've done a really good job with, and some are just sort of neglected. I think this might be getting updated later on. Boss frames is one of them. They're stuck in vanilla still. Nothing like dot classes are at a horrendous disadvantage without boss frames working in this function or this manner. Thankfully, this add-on, others fix it as well. This add-on fixes that and basically allows you to get boss frames like this, which is what I've had for a while. Excuse me, on retail with shadow unit frames. It allows you to display dots in a fashion where you can see it corresponding to boss 1, boss 2, boss 3 with their cast bars. This section here is for their own debuffs they apply to themselves, like an enrage or whatever. Now, currently you cannot like whitelist or blacklist dots and effects and stuff, so you're gonna see like Challenger's Burden or whatever it is for M+ on there, and random things like Soul Anathema that you don't care about if you're playing Affliction, Soul Harvester, for example. It is what it is, but you can still track dots with Agony, Corruption, UA, whatever, so on and so forth, and it makes life much, much, much easier. These are also clickable, interactable. Obviously, if you're in a boss fight, you won't see this, white box here. You'll see the boss frames, but it makes it very simple. Now, enhanced quality of life, you might just find it under quality of life. If you look under here, yeah, quality of life, you need this in share of media, I guess, but it's fine. So to open this up, you go /EQOL. Now, there's a lot of options with this add-on. However, you don't need most of them. If you import my profile, there's a handful of profiles here that you could import. I believe you just need to import this. I'm probably going to put both these in the Wago or experiment or the paste bin or experiment with it beforehand. I don't know which you need exactly. It's 3 different ones. I don't think you need this one, but I'll have it listed below regardless. And whatever is corresponding to enhanced quality of life, you can import that and it'll work for you. Now, the big thing here, enhanced quality of life, to open it up is /EQOL, like I said. You can go through here and look at like interface options. There's a lot of options, action bars and buttons. A lot of this corresponds to like just general Blizzard things I've turned off. I don't really need. I really just need it for like target frames, player frames, and the boss skins, right? So you can do that under there. But if you want to edit specific things you have enabled, right? So let's say I have boss frames enabled, I have target frames, and my player frames, right? You want to pull up the edit mode, so escape edit mode, and this add-on functions directly out of edit mode. So if I want to, tweak my character frame, right? Click it. This is enhanced quality of life. This is not the Blizz thing. This is enhanced quality of life. There's a lot here. But it actually isn't that bad once you like sit down and look at it, right? So my like for example, this is the frame. If I want to make the frame, there's opacity scaling here if you want. You can show a border on the frame if you want. If not, either or, whatever that works for you. If you want your portrait on, you can click this, turn it off, disable it, whatever works for you. This affects your health bar. So like this bar right here, it's green. You can change it to a different color if you want. I have a class color bar on. You can make it wider, smaller, longer, thinner, whatever you want. Absorb bar, I don't have enable, but you can if you want. If you turn it on, you can have it shown right here with like soul leech, whatever, either on this side or this side if you want to reverse fill it. Your power bar is going to be your mana or resource bar. I made mine thinner than my health bar. It doesn't matter a whole lot as a warlock, but I want to see it from time to time for various reasons. Class resource as well. If you want it on, it will show shards here. I have it turned off because I have one right here. If you want it, there you go. You can go through here and look at a handful of different things for target frames, your player frame, target frames, for example, with auras. If you want to move the buffs around a bit, you can. I have aura size 29, all that stuff here. If you want to make it larger, you can do that too. You can drag the positioning around. It's very, very customizable. Pet frame here. A focus frame here, target behind this thing right there. There you go. You can drag it all around whatever you want. Now, based on the how do I phrase this? The layout of where my player frame, target, focus frame, pet frame, all this, including boss frames and things including boss frames. The layout of that, where they're at in this grid specifically, is going to be imported by the edit mode I told you to import in the last section of this video. The last section of this video. Let me try that again. So if you don't import that and import this, I believe it'll import the actual like profile, but you got to move things around on your own, which isn't that bad. You just drag it around. But yeah, that corresponds to boss frames here as well. You can drag it around, do whatever. If I click boss frames, you see it swaps to boss frames here. There's a lot of options under here that you can tweak and tune your boss frames if you want. If you want their cast bar on, you can turn it on. If not, turn it off. It goes away. You can move dots around and things. Currently, I do have their own their own boss cast buffs, like with the actual value displayed above them, like for stat count or whatever. And that's because these correspond to the boss's like self-cast buffs, or I guess debuffs, whatever. This is like your debuffs and stuff. And this positioning of this stat counter also corresponds to this. So like for Agony, for example, for Warlock, it'll show Agony here with duration, and it'll show the stat count here. I can't move these individually. Just doesn't function that way. If I got to move it around later on, I will, but whatever. It is what it is. I don't need to really see that on bosses for the most part. If I do whatever later on, it's fine. But that's basically that for enhanced quality of life. So that's boss frames, all my player frames for the most part, everything else. I'm using baseline party frames, and right now baseline raid frames. I might tweak this later on. Honestly, I'm not even sure the functionality of raid frames, if you can even tweak a whole lot at this point. I don't think you can. I'll probably tweak it more going into like pre-patch and things beyond there. If I could even get a different add-on for it. But I'm using just baseline Blizz ones for the most part, and honestly, it's fine. Pretty much. So that's that for enhanced quality of life. It looks exceptionally overwhelming. It's not. It's not at all if you import a profile. But, you know, once again, I'd encourage you to do it ahead of time if you can. All right, the next add-on is going to be Dominos. I've used Bartender for a long time for actual like bars and such in game. Dominos, and we're going to hit on Masque a bit here as well. Now, if you don't care about like the skinning of these like your bars, like this perfect square with the border around it, you don't need Masque at all. Realistically, you can use the Blizzard default bars, and they're more than fine. I just want to have the ability to fade bars out like this. And hover over them and have them fade in. And Blizz has never added this to their bars. I don't know why. If they do, I'd use the default ones. But I haven't seen Bartender updated at all. It might be. If it is, great. I haven't seen it. Dominos works for bars as well. It's very similar. I'll put my profile up here as well. But honestly, you can probably just make your own. You just like drag. I don't even know how to. Yeah, I think it's left click, right click. Yeah. So if you left click this, it pulls up basically like the Dominos frame where it shows like action bars at here. Extra abilities. I have bar 165 here, experience bar, pet bar, menu, so on and so forth. These bars aren't even enabled, but if they were, you know, there's that. You can go through here and set up your bars if you want. Like over here, for example, action bar 4. If I click this, if you right click it, it shows like layout, buttons, paging, fading, which I have the opacity set to 100. As far as like the fade in, whatever, the duration set to 3, so it fades in slowly when I hover over it and fades out as well. If you want to go through here and like set up paging or buttons, I mean, you can, but it's very simple. If you don't mind like the rounded edges, like little birds, which I think you can turn off anyways in the Blizzard UI, it's more than fine to use the Blizzard action bars. They're honestly pretty solid. If you want the Dominos profile, I'll probably put it down below either way, but realistically, it's not really even needed. But it is what I use for my bars. If you're looking to use something to skin the bars, to give like that 90-degree like angle, like square box for the border on it, I use Masque. So MASQUE. Now I have this. All I do is type /Masque. I have Masque, the add-on itself, installed with an extension, Masque ElvUI. I'm not using ElvUI, it's just an ElvUI like skin, essentially, if you're familiar with ElvUI skins, right? So /Masque, MASQUE. So it gives you an option to here for Dominos, which you see right here. And you can check enable, disable if you want it enabled. Turn it on, bang, there you go. You can see I turned it off and the actual skins themselves are gone. Turn it back on, bang, it's enabled again. I have it not enabled for, I have it not enabled for Blizzard action bars, but Dominos is skinning it, so it's basically the same thing. I have global turn, basically nothing here for global, nothing under Blizzard action bars, but I have Dominos skinned, and I have it under ElvUI. And you can change this if you want, like Blizzard Classic, see it changing on here. Classic, modern. I don't want this rounded border, it looks bad, honestly. I just set it to ElvUI. If you want a backdrop, which you can see toggling here, that little like blackened border behind it, enable, disable. There you go. Change the color if you want. Cooldown, pulse. I had it on, no one even does anymore. That's basically that. If you want to scale it up, you can scale it up more too, or down. Obviously, I have it set to 1. I wouldn't change it from 1, but if you want to skin it, have it look a bit more, I guess, just organized and similar to the actual Cooldown manager we mentioned, with the skinning from that add-on as well, I'd encourage that. But up to you. In the end, not a big deal. But Dominos for the actual bars themselves, and Masque, MASQUE, with this extension here, Masque Dominos and Masque ElvUI, to basically get the skin version of this through, well, you know, Elv and all that. All right, the next thing here is going to be boss mods, stuff like that. So I'm using BigWigs. Both Deadly Boss mods and BigWigs are phenomenal. You can use whichever one you want. It doesn't matter. I've used BigWigs for a long time. I'm still using that. If you want to pull it up, it's /BW. There you go. Super simple. You can tweak a lot of things in here. A lot of it you can go in and add like raid bosses with like individual queues and stuff. Like if I load certain things, it's going to reload my UI, but I can load the bosses and look at like abilities and this and that and add various things to them, so on and so forth. I don't really care to do that right now, but what I do want to show you guys is a very brief layout, which, yeah, there you go, I loaded Bella right there, there you go, see. A brief layout of where I have my bars and such right now, when it comes to BigWigs. So basically, if you're under here, you can go to, I mean, as a handful of you like it's account and option things as well, but if you go to like bars, right? So I'm going to hit create test bar, and a handful of bars are going to pop here. Now, I have bars up here. I don't really use these bars, but I'm using this bar here, these bars here, and this is my emphasized bars. Emphasized bars versus regular bars that are up here. Now, unfortunately, there's no real way to turn off the actual bars up here. I might just hide them at some point, like throw them in the corner of my screen and ignore them for the rest of the time I play this game. I don't know. But I want to have emphasized bars and relevant information in like the middle of my screen, near my character. So I'm not digging around looking up here for a timer or something else. You might be wondering, well, if that's the case, why do you have timers up here? That's because I have a timeline. Counts down right here as well. I'm more or less ignoring these. I just put them here for now because I can't get rid of them. But I have an add-on as well, which is called Ability Timeline. That is right here. That counts down. So these timers right here, you can see 10 seconds on this. It's counting down right now. Like this. This is not even relevant. They're not even on. 11, 15, 14 right here. You can see it counting down. 13, 12. This is the exact same thing on here. It's the timeline that counts down. And when it reaches like the, hey, emphasized point, the emphasized point, this is happening soon, it'll also populate a bar below my character here. And you can tweak and tune like the duration when the emphasized bars become visible by clicking on this here. Emphasize at 11 seconds, 10, 9, 8, 5, whatever. I'll have it set to like 5 or 6, but either way, there's that. You can change the font size here if you want this as well, bigger or smaller. You can change a lot when it comes to these emphasized bars. Like visible bar limit is 3. I don't want to have 10 stacking here, but 3 is enough where I can see my character still. I prefer the timeline here. If you don't want the timeline scrolling down, it's totally fine to just say, hey, I don't want the ability timeline add-on, and just use this for emphasized timers and use this and drag it somewhere else, like the actual bars themselves. Just drag it somewhere else. Put it here. I guess I can't drag it, but sure. There we go. Show moving anchors. There we go. And drag it here. Put it more in your central field of view, right? I'd have it right here, basically. One and the same. I prefer the bar, but totally up to you guys. Not a big deal. With But that's how I have my BigWigs and ability timeline set up for Midnight so far. Might tweak a couple things depending where it goes, but that's basically it. The information's all centralized in an area and vicinity where I don't need to be digging around. Where am I looking? Up here, down here. Emphasize timers are here. Timeline counting down. You can see it counting down, and use like the actual line counting down as like a reference. This is happening soon at the corner of your eye. We're looking at your target, yourself, abilities, so on and so forth. And that's that. So BigWigs, exit. BigWigs is the add-on that I use for obviously like big boss timers and stuff. And ability timeline, once again, is for the actual countdown stuff. I will say Blizz has their own ability timeline in game as well. You don't need the ability timeline add-on, but it skins it, allows you to like shrink and enlarge the bar, makes it a bit more customizable. So up to you, but that's the layout that I'm gonna have, and I'll have a link to BigWigs and stuff down below. Actually, I might not, because you can just build it yourself. It's very easy to do. I probably won't link BigWigs or timeline. You just drag it around, but that's what I'm using. And that's like the general configuration of both of them. All right, the next little bit here is going to be Plater, my nameplate add-on, and details. Details is super simple, really fast here. It's around. Didn't go away. It wasn't updated until before Christmas, and they updated it recently to fix some of the bugs. Blizzard has limited the amount of information we can gather in combat in like their black box and things. Whatever the actual in-game damage meter displays, details will reskin for you. The in-game damage meter does not display information incredibly well. Details does. I would encourage you to grab details. Most everybody has details. The in-game meter will show, like for example, details has this cool feature where you can toggle between the in-game meter and details. So if you click this little like wow icon here, it'll change. I don't have any data here, but regardless, back to details there. Details shows a breakdown like this, where it shows percentages, total damage, all that stuff, average hits here. Crit percent and values are still hidden. I don't know why. It's very weird. But regardless, details gives a lot more information in a much more digestible manner. Now, you can do multiple frames for details. If you want multiple windows, you can just do the cog wheel, window control, create window. You can do obviously like current segment, overall data for healing, whatever you want. If you right click here, really anywhere in this part, it'll pull up this whole frame with a lot of things here. Now, unfortunately, a lot of this is not trackable anymore. I believe Blizz recently added deaths and to see how people died in game, which is nice, but I'm sure functionality is still getting tweaked into by people that make details. Very nice people, all the above. I would recommend grabbing details highly. Blizzard meter is taking steps in the right direction, but it is still probably a few months behind, if not more. And just, we've had details for a long time. No reason to fix what isn't broken, right? So I'd encourage you to get details. Super easy to set up. Don't really need a profile for it or anything. Just make boxes, drag and drop, bang, good to go. When it comes to Plater, so there are two add-ons that you can use for nameplates. There's multiples, but Plater and Platinator are two different ones. I use Platinator for a lot of alpha and beta. Phenomenal add-on. It's more user-friendly for sure. I'd say it's more user-friendly than Plater. I've had a Plater profile and things for a long time. I could import mine I did import it from retail to beta, and it works pretty well for the most part. I had to like turn off scripts and modding because they're banned now, or not workable, but regardless, I'm going to be using Plater. If you would like my Plater profile, I'll have it down below, obviously all that stuff. If you want to import a Plater profile, type /Plater, Plater. There you go, right here, profiles, import, paste it in, there you go. You have to reload, it'll work for you. You might need to change a couple CVARs for like larger and smaller nameplates. You can just tweak it in here too somewhere as well, I believe. I think under like enemy, I guess like under here somewhere. It should be under here somewhere. I was messing with it with THE a few days ago. But regardless though, I mean, you can make nameplates larger and smaller, all kind of stuff. If there's a problem with it, just let me know. I'll put it down below in the description as well. I'll update it or whatever. But yeah, that's basically that. There's a lot of functionality in here. Scripting and modding is broken pretty much for the most part. I have some in here from a long time ago, just disabled, but I mean, regardless, there's that. Plater is very, very customizable. You can move, you can change where names are to be left to right, right to left. On the bar here, you can display raw health or just percent. You can display both. They recently have also added, if I can find it here, if I can find it, they recently added the colored nameplates as well for the mobs in game, that weird script that came out a few weeks ago. I think I broke something. There you go. I broke it. That's okay. It's all right. It's in here somewhere. But it does indeed have like the up-to-date. Yeah, here. There you go. Enabled boss, mini boss, caster, elites. If you've seen this over the course of like beta and wondered how he will change the name, the color of name mobs, and plus whatever, there's like a script or whatever, some kind of thing that was found a few weeks ago that works that way, and Blizz is okay with it for now. So they have it implemented here. I'm using Plater. Basically for dot tracking, it's pretty simple. I'll open up briefly as AF here. I'm just gonna throw a seed. You can see dots being displayed here. Put out some agonies. There you go, there you go. There's no way to add pandemic glow to dots reaching their pandemic range. At the same time, I cannot whitelist or blacklist debuffs. I don't wanna see this. I don't wanna see whatever, my Voidwalker taunting or soul anathema or whatever, right? Now it does show like the red duration text on agony when they're getting low. It'll show it on wither here as well in a second, but there's no like glowing, hey, refresh this. I really wish there was, but that's a Blizzard restriction, not a Plater restriction. So there's that. But honestly, Plater is phenomenal. Platinator is also very good. It's more user-friendly if you're making your own nameplates. I'd encourage you to grab that. But I'm going to use Plater. I've had it for a while. I know how to work it relatively well. And yeah, I have that profile link down below if you guys want it as well. And this last little section here is going to be just a grab bag of add-ons that I use. Not really like a whole section on them or anything, but the first one here, combat time tracker right here. The Blizzard in-game damage meter is displaying combat time now, like up here somewhere. This is details, obviously. They'll probably add it at some point too, but I have this. It's combat time trackers. It's not fully up to date yet. You have to go in and edit the TOC file. It's combat time trackers. Hopefully it's updated for pre-patch. If it's not, give it a few days and see where it's at. If not, I'll try and update it based on where it happens, all that stuff. Need to go in and change the .toc file to 12.0000000. 4 or 5 zeros. Yeah, either way. If not, don't worry about it. Not a big deal. There'll be an add-on that works that way, I'm sure, before the actual expansion releases, but that's what I'm using right now. The cursor ring right here. I have WeakWar for this on retail. Just an add-on. It's literally called Cursor Ring. I don't even know how to pull it up in game, but it's just an add-on called Cursor Ring. I grabbed it. They had a circle. I made it green, just like retail. Here we are. Very cool. I'm using PlayersCastbars. This is made by CK. I think it's /PCB to pull this up. Yeah, there you go. It's /PCB. He has like Target Castbars too. It's like /TCB and something else. You want to, if you find the add-on on CurseForge, you want to go in there. I don't care about my Target's Castbar. I have other ways to track that. You want to go in there and turn off the Target Castbar and something else too. But /PCB, you can go in here, change it up. You can go to like class colors if you want. You can turn on rainbow mode, which is very cool. It's a rainbow. Or you can turn on your class color for purple. There's that. Text size, all this stuff here. You can disable this picture of the spell being cast if you want. I think it's sort of cool. I'll leave it on, but I'm using PlayersCastbars for that. I'm using an add-on called Warlock Reminders. I have EQOL for this as well on retail, but it's gone now. Thankfully, the add-on does the same thing. So we're going to pull my pet out here. He's on passive. It tells me, hey, your pet's on passive. Don't leave it on passive, right? He's in there somewhere. Here he comes. There he is. If you have no health stones, if I delete mine that are right here, it'll say, hey, make some health stones. If you have no pet out, it'll say, hey, you have no pet out. And it'll say, it will say the wrong pet as well if you have like a imp out for demonology, which is important to catch. It also reminds you to soul stone a healer if you're in a dungeon or a raid or anything. Put it on anybody and it goes away, but yeah. So similar to the old Weak Wars and stuff, you can tweak and tune it. I think it's just /WM, WRM, WM. It's something, but it's Warlock Reminders. Super simple to find, really customizable, and that's that. And the last real add-on here that I can remember, as far as sharing is concerned, is Talent Loadout EX. I've used this for a long time now, since Dragonflight. Blizzard's limited to the number of add-ons or profiles you can have in game. I don't even know what it is anymore, but you can make a billion of these with this add-on here. Import a build here. It comes in and you just click. Let's like copy this, right? So let's copy this build here. Export, copy this. I'm copying all 4. Let's find a build. Let's go with this one, the Funhouse. I'll copy the Funhouse build. Why not? Sure. Let's share this. So say I have this. I want to import it, right? Let me actually grab the code for this. Share, copy to clipboard. Cool. So I'll import, paste it in here. It'll import it, new config, whatever it is. It basically imported this talent build. You can edit it, change the name, find a nice little picture That's a nice little whispering eye. Grab that and change the name. There you go. Bang. Works for single target, anything, hell, whatever you want. Single target, Soul Harvester, right? Hellcaller, whatever you want. It's here. There you go. And it works. So that's that. It helps you manage profiles a lot better than the one in game, honestly. But that's the gist of what I'm using. I don't think there's really a whole lot else to it. Yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. Wraps it up, and hopefully the video helped y'all out with your UIs and add-ons. Also heading into Midnight, man. I spent a lot of time tweaking this on beta and stuff. I think it's in a pretty good spot. Everyone has their own preferences and stuff, right? Some things people will like, some won't. But if you want like a general starting point, I think it's a good place to go. You can use it for a full UI. You can just copy and paste it, right? Like I said, if you're looking to make your own UI from scratch and not import anything and you haven't done it yet, I would encourage you to get on now and do it. This was taking me probably 15, 20 hours to do, of course, a stream, on-stream, off-stream. And realistically, I replicated almost my entire UI from retail for the most part, barring like combat restrictions. It just takes 10 times the amount of effort, which we knew would be the case from months and months ago. But here we are. So yeah. Once again, links to all the profiles and things down below. There'll be in a paste bin link, probably, maybe a while ago. I don't know. But if you want them as well, you can come by Twitch. Link up here, as well as my Discord up here and down below to get them for free if you want. They're in chat, !WA. I'll probably change it to profile at some point. I don't know, because week wars are gone. But yeah, that's that. A huge thank you to my supporters on Patreon as well. For all the support, guys, thank y'all a million times, like always. I really appreciate it, y'all. If you're looking to support on Patreon, also link up here. I think as well as down below in the description. So I'm excited for pre-patch. I'm worried. Oh, worried's the word. I mean, it's all gonna work. It's all gonna work eventually. I'm happy that I took the time to set up my UI ahead of time. And I think it's pretty functional. I played a lot of alpha and beta and even some PTR. I'm used to it by now. But I would just say, once again, if you haven't done so for your own UI, I would do so. Just ahead of time. Log in, have a little bit of fun. Log out and be ready. But yeah. So all that being said, guys, we'll have spec guides coming out for Aptemo and Destro in the next 24 hours or so on the channel. Shorter ones for pre-patch compared to like the big ones for the actual launch of the game. But that's coming out soon. If you want to see that and everything else, be sure to like and sub. Helps out a ton. I'll catch y'all again soon on stream. Peace.